Welcome back, Shalligators. Today I wanted to bring you a video from the Shallon. We are still talking in there about ancient Rome and what we can learn. And so this is a video that went up for Evil Monday. We do Serene Sunday, Evil Monday, Wisdom Wednesday, Fuckboy Friday, Slutty Saturday, and just a whole bunch of chit chat in our 25 group chats in between. So if you like my advice and you want a little more, plus some community aspect, if you need to make some friends, right? Because it's lonely at the top, I got you. Come on into the Shallon. And in fact, we are going to be talking about just that very thing in today's video. Check it out. I'm in Rome, and you know what that means? Yes, I'm bursting at the seams to tell you about some Roman history. Rome is the thing I know most about in this world. Very useless day to day, but for like 12 days every 18 months, holy moly, is it my time to shine. So I want to bring you a little bit of evil and a little bit of wisdom in a little two-part video we're going to do about Commodus, the Roman Emperor Commodus. And if that name is familiar to you, it's probably because you've seen the movie Gladiator. Gladiator profoundly changed my life. That's so sad. I know. I saw it, I think 11 times when I was younger. And I was like, I want to live in Rome. Like something happened inside me. It like activated all these dormant nerd genes. And I was already a nerd, let me tell you. And like, I have to live in Rome. And so I ended up studying abroad in Rome in college. And that also changed my life. It like hyperlapsed me growing up. And I encourage anyone who has the opportunity to study abroad, do it. Don't just go for a few months, go for a year if you can. And you know, at the time people were like, oh, I'd love to study abroad, but like, I don't want to miss out on stuff here. Like what, a fucking keg party? Getting finger blasted by like an Alpha Chi Omega? Like, those are girls, but you never know. You're going to get finger blasted by somebody. Maybe it was an SA, maybe it was an AKIO, you don't know. You're not going to miss anything. You're missing out by not going. So if you can afford to, go. I was the only person from the West Coast who went to my program. Everyone else was from New York. I did not know anyone. I still have a best friend from that trip, Amber. She officiated my wedding. Like, you bond, and it was incredible. Anyway, since then, like Rome has just been such a big part of my life and my brain power. I don't know one of my phone numbers, but I know about Commodus. So in the movie, Commodus is played by Joaquin Phoenix. He's the bad guy, right? Russell Crowe's the good guy, Maximus, and he's the gladiator, and Commodus is the evil Roman Empire. Watch the movie if you haven't seen it. I guess they're coming out with another one. I don't know. I'm very persnickety. I'm very persnickety. But this video, it's like I said, it's gonna be two parts. So if you're watching this in the Shallon, you know it's Evil Monday. So we're gonna talk about what we can learn from Commodus's evil, because he is widely regarded by historians as the worst Roman emperor. And in the Shallon, we're going to continue talking about these emperors. We're going to talk about Caligula and Nero, two names who are also synonymous with complete and total unhinged fucking mayhem. Why is Commodus worse? Well, the TLDR, we're going to get to that in a later video. He kind of kicked off the beginning of the end of the Roman Empire. And his behaviors weren't maybe as outright batshit crazy as Caligula and Nero, but they did more damage. You know, and so that's another interesting thing. It's like, which is worse, to have a ruler or anyone in your life who is like that firework? We talk about the firework or the fireplace. And we talk about it in a good way. You want a man who's not a firework. Ooh, because that means he's a fuckboy. He's flashy. He's here today, gone tomorrow. You get too close, he's going to burn you. You want a man who's a fireplace. Takes a minute to get going, but when it does, that keeps you warm. But what if evil's the same way? What if you had to choose between someone who is all up in your face, evil in these short, crazy, intense bursts, but they're out of your life fairly soon, versus someone who does a lot of damage over a longer period of time? Which is worse? Well, we're going to talk about that when we talk about those two emperors. And I honestly don't have an answer. I don't know. It's like, would you rather have a guy punch you in the face or gaslight you for 6 months? I don't know. Like there's trauma on both. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. So we can talk about that again. If you're in the Shallontrage, talk about it in the group chat. If you're watching this on YouTube, because yes, Shallontrage, I think I'm going to put this on YouTube because, you know, Rome belongs to all of us. History belongs to all of us. And I want them to get a sense of like what we talk about in the Shallontrage. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're welcome. I'm so excited to bring all of my just like nerd facts out here into the world for you. All right. So like I said, it's going to be a two-part. We're going to talk about kind of Commodus's villain origin story in this one and what we can learn from it, because in the Shallontrage, it's Evil Monday, and that's one thing we cover, is all manner of evil, how to be evil, how to analyze evil, and why evil is very often an extremely good thing. And then our next video is going to be for Wednesday, our Wisdom Wednesday video, what we can learn from things in life. We also have Slutty Saturdays / Ranter Days. A lot of times I'll just fucking rant about something. We have Fuckboy Fridays, Serene Sundays. And for the next few weeks in the Shallontrage, Serene Sunday podcast is going to be all about Rome. So if you're really into Rome and you want to like just absorb it, or if you want to meet like hundreds and hundreds of girls from around the world and probably in your city that you can become friends with and meet up with, join the Shallontrage. It's fantastic. It's some deep dives. I think I've been doing like my best work ever in there. I've been really like uncovering some amazing truths. We ask each other for advice. It's just an amazing friend group. Honestly, it's an amazing friend group. Okay, let's talk about Commodus. So Commodus ruled from 180 AD to 192. Now, as you know, there's BC, before Christ, and AD. You always want to say after death. That's not what it means. It means Anno Domini. I like to say after de Jesus. After de Jesus. Why can't it be AC, BC, AC, before Christ, after Christ? I don't know. Or they'll say ACE. Right? No, BCE, before Common Era, and then anyway. Commodus was the son of Marcus Aurelius. And again, if you've watched Gladiator, he's the wise emperor, the wise old emperor. He was actually only 58 when he died, but they made him like 500 years old. He's Gollum. Marcus Aurelius is one of the cornerstone fathers of Stoic philosophy. I'm a huge Stoic Yep, that's me. Stoic philosophy basically boils down to shut the fuck up and do what needs to be done. All right, stop feeling sorry for yourself. You're stronger than you think you are. Complaining doesn't get you anywhere. Go for it. Be about it. Don't talk about it. That's Stoic philosophy in a nutshell. Zeno, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, even modern people. General MacArthur was, I would say, a Stoic philosopher. Anyway, Marcus was an incredible emperor. And that's how he's portrayed in Gladiator. Just he's beloved and he's wise and he's revered. And all of that was true. He was a bit of a warrior emperor. I mean, he pushed the empire into the Germanic tribes, into the Germanic lands. He was always off fighting campaigns, but he was a very wise man. But was he? What the fuck, dude? Okay. The way the Julio-Claudian line of succession goes, I'm getting a little down the rabbit hole. So when we think of like kings and princes, it's a bloodline, right? You have to be literally grandfathered in. If you aren't born into this family, you're not going to be a prince or a king. Like, you're not tapped to be an heir. That's what we think of as heirs. In ancient Rome, it wasn't like that. Julius Caesar, the first Caesar, after whom all the other successors took their name, Caesar, from Julius, he was part of the Julio-Claudian line, Julius, right? He did not do this based on bloodline. He appointed his heir, who was Octavian, who later became Augustus, who was considered the best ruler of Rome. I have my own thoughts on that, but I won't go into it. He wasn't related to Augustus. He adopted him, and that became the tradition. Rulers would adopt, very often like a grown man, to be their successor. They would choose from the most capable person they saw. Now, did this always work out? No. People were murdered. A lot of people murdered their way to the top in Rome, but that's something we'll touch on in a bit. Marcus Aurelius, however, tapped his actual son. Now, there's really only one example of blood sons ruling. It was Vespasian's sons, Domitian and Titus. Titus and Domitian. You're like, Shallon, stick to the point, right? You see now. I could just keep going. It is a terrifying place inside my brain. But this was like sweet. It was sweet that he wanted Commodus to be his heir. Was it wise? Some historians believe that Commodus was a psychopath from the jump, like absolutely from the jump. When Commodus was 12, he dipped his toe into his bath and it was a little cold. He flew into such a batshit rage that he ordered the attendant who was supposed to fill his bath thrown into the furnace. I'm going to show him what heat feels like. And the other attendants were like, no, we're not going to fucking throw this dude in a furnace. First of all, Marcus Aurelius would not want that. He'd be furious. So they threw a sheepskin in. And Commodus got in his now warm bath because everyone learned their lesson. And he could smell the burning. And he thought it was a person burning. And he's like, I'm so happy. He was 12. He should have just been like eating Twizzlers and jerking off. It's really all. But no. That was Commodus. But other historians believe that he was corrupted by advisors. He was easily manipulated. He was basically weak. Could Marcus see this ahead of time? By all accounts, no. He couldn't even realize that his wife, Faustina, was a hoe and a half, just slutting around the empire. He's like, oh, he loved her. He made her a goddess. He deified her, which is sweet, but like, come on, dude. She was just, running trains all day long. Ran through Faustina. And this makes me wonder about Marcus's state of mind. But you know what? I'm going to save that. I'm going to save that for Wisdom Wednesday. Because on Wisdom Wednesday, we're going to talk about whether or not having a Zen state of mind is actually a target on your back. We're going to talk about that. But today, since it's Evil Monday, I want to talk about evil. So I think it's interesting that prior rulers, prior emperors, really lived by the blood is thicker than water phrase. Now, as we know, because we're high-level women, and I've talked about this, people misuse that phrase. They think it's blood is thicker than water. Yeah, family over everything. No. That's not the whole phrase. The phrase is actually, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. The blood of the covenant, the promise, the battle that I fought with someone, the covenant of Jesus to us. This took place, this phrase is very, very, very old. And no, they might not have had this phrase at the time, when Commodus, but they had this idea. They maybe didn't have this cute little catchphrase for it, but they had the idea that family's great. It isn't actually family over everything. In a way, fuck family, fuck blood. You have to look out for yourself. You have to look out for what it is you're after. And sometimes, hey, that's your family who you're going to trust. And very often, it is not. If we look through Roman history, even at the most cursory glance, it is full of murder and betrayal and deception, and family doesn't add up to much. There was, oh my gosh, fathers killing sons, Lucius Brutus, who overthrew the first Tarquin kings and ushered in the actual Roman Empire. It's a whole other story. You have husbands killing wives, Nero. You have sons killing mothers, also Nero again. Family, you might like them, but hey, at the end of the day, the ends justifies the means, doesn't it? And we can look at that and be like, oh, horrible. Many philosophers and scholars have looked at the trajectory of the Roman Empire, and then they've looked at the, so far, trajectory of the American Empire. And the parallels are unmistakable. And where went Rome, so goes America. And we can say, oh my God, we're not like that. We don't have gladiators ripping people apart. We're not beheading rivals. Okay, that's true. We're not doing that yet. And we probably never will. And it's funny to me when people are like, Biden's a nightmare, Trump's a nightmare. Dude, you don't even fucking know what a nightmare is. You don't know what a nightmare is until you've read about a scientist who was burned alive, upside down though, and using coal for the fire and not wood, because coal, why? Yeah, because coal takes longer. The Catholic Church did that in around 1500. That's evil. Beheading a 7-year-old because their stepmom something did something to the Pope's best friend, Cardinal Chessy. That's evil. Okay? We don't really have a concept of what evil is outside of Hitler. Anyway, I'm off track. This is how I get. So yeah, we can say, oh my God, these Romans, they were barbarians, fuck family. No, that's not us. We're America. Family values. Family values. Any Western nation, family values. Okay. But what is the American dream? Pull yourself up by any means necessary. Climb to the top of that ladder. We have terms like Nepo baby, specifically to shit on people like Commodus, the ultimate Nepo baby. And you know what? Back then, people were like, bro, I don't know. I don't know about this. Like, I get he's your son. I guess you like love him or whatever. Is he the best man for the job? And that vibe wormed its way into Commodus. Maybe he was a psychopath, but maybe he was also keenly aware that people were like, I don't know. I don't know if you can live up to what needs to be done. I don't know. The crushing, ruinous trauma of low expectations. Now, don't we all know what that feels like? Don't we all know what that feels like? One thing that drove me crazy about like the BLM movement was the racism of low expectations. Oh, well, Black people need all this help. Why? Well, because they're like, the end of that sentence was because they're what, inferior? No. I'm not buying into that. No, that is so insulting to me. I, as a woman, have felt that my whole life. I, as a single child of a single mother, have always felt that. It's not racism, but it's the prejudice of low expectations from me, and nothing enraged me more. So when I see people treating other races like that, I'm like, It's one thing to be like, hey, let's maybe level the playing field a little bit and let's not have things stacked against these people. But don't you for a second talk to them like they're an inferior. Like that always galled me, but somehow that made me the racist. Commodus. So when he had this energy towards him of like, it shouldn't be you. Would that make anyone evil? Would that make anyone crazy? Would it make them nihilistic? Or it's like, you know what? Fuck you. I don't care. I'm going to throw that attendant in the fucking furnace. Fuck you. Whatever. Yeah, I'm going to dress up like a gladiator and compete, which he absolutely did. It was pretty insane. I mean, imagine if Donald Trump went to the Super Bowl and he's like, hold on. I'm getting down there. Brady, pass me the ball. And people are like, okay, do we let him win? Yes, you let him win. Yes. Again, we take for granted that our leaders don't do these kind of unhinged things. But again, when you look at the trajectory of the empires, we do have a touch of that spirit, of that fuck your stupid trust fund. I'm a self-made person. And we also look at a trust fund baby, and very often they're miserable. Look at Tom Hanks' son, the white rapper, that kid. Yeah. I mean, there's a litany of celebrity offspring who've just circled the drain and ended up like overdosing, that's the most interesting thing they've done, for God's sakes. Like, otherwise they're just like spiraling around and doing nothing. It's because there's not a lot of expectation, and there's also not a lot of urgency. So have you ever heard the phrase, no one works better under pressure, they work? Necessity is the mother of invention, right? If you have to prove yourself, you will. If you don't have to, will you? But again, we're getting off topic because this is Evil Monday, so I want to get back to the evil. In the next video, we're going to talk more about what Commodus did that was so evil, because it's going to tie into how Marcus ignored a lot of things. But we spent a lot of time in this video discussing like, well, why is Commodus like this? Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? This is what we need to learn. We give way too much leniency to someone's origin story. Well, they've had a hard time. They've had some trauma. So let's just be a little elastic with them. Everyone's fighting a battle you know nothing about. Okay, so if everyone's fighting a battle, so then the playing field is kind of even. So then why would I give you all this dispensation for your horseshit behavior, Bethany, when you're fighting a battle, but I am too, and so is everyone else. And you know what? No one else is moving through their life like a berserker war machine the way that you are. So exactly why do I need to stay my hand when it comes to smacking you down? I'm not an especially empathetic person a lot of times. I am when someone is meeting me in a respectful way. Yeah, of course I'm gonna have empathy for you. The second you make your problem my problem, now we've got a problem. And trust me, you don't want me as your problem. You don't want me as your problem. A friend in Montana is looking that in the face right now, because she's been running her fat fucking mouth about me for the last year. And I've had enough. And people keep saying, Shallon, she's just jealous. I'm perfectly aware of that. I am not at all confused about where this is coming from. Shallon, she's in a bad marriage. How's that my problem? That's something I have to suffer the consequences for. I'm actually not involved in her marriage. Her family's dealing with something. Again, I'm not part of her family. So why do I have to be in the splash zone of her venom and gaslight myself? Oh, it's okay. She's going through something. I am now going through something. And I was there for her about her marriage, about her family, about whatever, all of these things as her friend. The second all of that angst went in my direction, all bets are motherfucking off. Empathy is really only useful for the rest of the world. Very rarely is it useful for us. It's like, it's like politeness or something. Like, yeah, you need to be polite to get what you want out of the world. But I don't know, maybe politeness is a bad example. I'm really tired of excusing people's behavior based on their origin story. I mean, think about it. Let's take this to an extreme. This is the example that I always use. A drunk driver. Oh, well, they were drunk. They didn't mean to hit that person. Like those two hockey brothers who were killed the night before their sister's wedding. One of them has a baby on the way. Drunk driver. Is everyone like, oh, well, he didn't mean to. Let him go. Fuck your intentions. Intentions have zero bearing on how something lands in someone's life. I mean, I didn't cheat on you to hurt you. It wasn't about you, Caitlin. No, I love you. No, it's about me. Okay? Oh, well, then it doesn't hurt anymore. Wow, thank you for explaining that. I detest when people give me a sob story. And you know what? What is the number one thing a manipulative person, actually a sociopath, what's the number one thing a sociopath wants? Pity. We think it's power. We think it's, revenge. Like we think of some like really intense, crazy emotion. No, it's pity. Because then it goes back to everyone's fighting a battle. Lead with love, choose kindness. Nope. Who does that benefit? Not me. I'm the one getting shoved around by someone's insane machinations and their trauma. I don't give a fuck about your trauma. I don't give a fuck about your trauma. Do you give a fuck about mine? You shouldn't. You shouldn't. You should give a fuck about whether or not I'm exacerbating your trauma with my behavior. And if I am, you have the right to push back on me. And guess what? That's what you're going to get from me. And you know what that makes me according to society? A narcissist, a sociopath. What it actually makes me is happy. It makes me protected. It makes me safe. And therefore, because I'm not, hemorrhaging all of this empathy out into the world like a clown and a cuck, when something actually needs and deserves my empathy and attention, I've got it. That reserve is full. That cup is full. I can pour from it. When I'm out here letting people shove into me and do all these things and be a nightmare, I'm just eroding myself. And so when I need to give true concern and care to something, AKA myself, because that's who I always give my care and concern to first, second, third, and fourth. It's me. It's me. I am able to protect myself because I'm not being elastic with everyone else. And this is what I love about Rome. And this is what I love about Roman history. It is cut and dry. It's a cold world. And that's exactly how they bill it. There's not like, well, Commodus is trauma. Oh, it's a trauma. They're like, who gives a fuck? Everyone's got a sad song to sing, dude. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing to other people? What are you doing to the empire? You think your life is hard? Look at all these slaves. Look at all these gladiators. Look at all these whores. Look at all these noble people who can't own property. Like, no one wants to hear it. No one wants to hear it. And that's the beautiful thing about such a hardcore, harsh empire. No one wants to hear it. There was no like, oh, well, his trauma and then he's desensitized, his mother issues. I mean, a little bit. People could say, oh, Caligula was raised by Titus. Was it Titus? I think it was Titus, who was absolutely batshit. He was almost a hostage in this man's palace. And oh, did that inform like the monster he became? Who cares? Who cares? How did that insulate all the people he killed for like literally no reason? How did that insulate them from those consequences? It didn't. It just gives a dispensation to an asshole. Why are we doing this in our own lives? So today for Evil Monday, or like I said, if you're on YouTube, dial down your pity. Enough. Enough. What story are you constantly telling yourself to justify the mistreatment that others are bringing to your doorstep? Well, she had a hard life, and now you get to have a hard life. Does that seem fair? Because listen, we're talking about fairness, right? Right? Well, it's not fair that I react poorly to this person. They've gone through XYZ. Okay, so since now this is the people's court where we're trying to meter out justice or whatever, I don't know, you're after fairness. Life isn't fair, but sure. How is it fair that you suffer because of her? If we're all just concerned about fairness, how does this make any sense to you? The buck stops with me. I mean, I get that you've had a bad life or a traumatic time. I'm not going to throw gas on that fire. I'm not going to make it worse. But I'm also not going to let you workshop your pain on me. Again, when your problem becomes my problem, we've got a problem. And I don't give a fuck what you've been through. I don't care. You're going to attack me, and then your expectation, your entitlement is empathy? Nope. I get real Roman real quick. Think about that mindset. I'm going to attack this person. And not only, I'm not even just going to expect a non-reaction, which is crazy. If I attack someone, I should expect an equal and opposite reaction. That's Newtonian physics. If I slap someone, I better expect to get slapped back. I'm going to expect empathy, kindness. I'm going to slap someone and I expect a hug and a kiss and oh, you're suffering. That level of delusion and entitlement blows my mind. And the fact that we buy into this, oh yeah, turn the other cheek, be kind, choose kindness, the battle they're fighting. What? How dare we let people gaslight us into that? That's fucking crazy. The friend I'm dealing with in Montana, that's what people are telling me to do. She's suffering. Good, I would like to add to that because she's trying to make me suffer. I am perfectly aware that she's suffering, but she's not suffering by my hand specifically. And I would like that. I would like if her suffering was more due to my direct actions. Because that's what she wants. Based on what she's doing, what she's saying, she wants me to suffer. So you want to dance? Let's dance. I am not burdened by these societal rules of turning the other cheek. And you shouldn't be either. And you know what? Yeah, that's going to cost you. That's going to cost you. It's going to cost you. People are going to call you a monster. They're going to say you're so unempathetic. But you know what? They're going to think twice before they try you. They're going to think twice before they bring their brand of bullshit to your doorstep because they will have seen she's not going to give me a do-over here. She's not going to give me a lot of wiggle room. If that's how she treated this chick, okay. Maybe if I need that little ego boost, if I need my little scratching pad to feel better, my little punching bag, I am going to go elsewhere. I'm not going to workshop it on her. One thing the Romans loved to do was crucify people. They loved it. And they crucified people. We think of crucifixion as only for Jesus. No. And when Jesus died, like it made zero ripples really across the empire. I mean, they were crucifying dozens of people, probably hundreds every single day. Lots of wood, lots of nails. And they would line these people up, the ones who were closest to Rome, criminals they were crucifying on the Appian Way, the only road in and out of Rome. Now, can you imagine? You're driving in from JFK Airport into New York City and it's just lined with criminals in cages or nailed to crosses. Would you be like, I'm going to such a fun, welcoming, elastic, forgiving place? Nope. You would say, I better not fuck with anyone while I'm here because, geez, Louise. That was the point. It was a warning. And so when you stand up for yourself against people who try to put you in corners and work out their trauma on you, you are crucifying them along the Appian Way. And you are saying, not today. Don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with Rome. I'm not doing it. Do you know that the way you die when you're crucified is you drown? Your lungs fill with water. My lungs right now were like, don't do it. Your lungs fill with water. St. Peter, who was our first pope, right? He was an apostle. Is that not right? I don't know. He was a guy who was close to Jesus. I'm not a Catholic. I'm so sorry. He was crucified by Nero. Nero was the emperor at the time. Crucified. He wanted to be crucified upside down because he thought to be crucified like Jesus, he wasn't worthy of it. I don't know how you die when you're crucified upside down because your lungs can empty out. They don't fill in the same way. I think it probably took him an extremely long time to die. That is pretty brutal. That is awful. But in the Shallon Charge, we're going to talk about all sorts of awful things that went on in that empire. And again, you know what? You're going to sleep well tonight because you're going to be like, things are pretty much okay here. Things are okay. All right. Oh, life could be so much worse. So the lesson for today, my little friends So the lesson for today, my friends, my Romans, and my countrymen, fuck a sob story. Fuck an origin story. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares why Commodus was that way? Was he born crazy? Was he made crazy? Who cares? He ended up crazy. That's the only thing that matters. That's the only thing we're required to deal with. Don't worry, you're still going to have plenty of empathy. Just save it for the people who deserve it. Save it for the people who deserve it. It's not easy being evil. People are always going to tell you to be kind, or you know what the new, once they realize they can't bully you into being kind, they're going to bully you into ignoring. They're going to try to bully you into apathy. Just ignore her. She's not worth it. I will decide what's worth it. I'll decide what's worth it. Use your energy for something else. I got a great night's sleep. I have plenty of energy. Hate is too heavy a burden to carry. I never skip leg day. I've got plenty of strength. Nothing is more galling than someone who tries to pick your battles for you, because guess what? They're not going to pick any of them because they're going to look at life through their own veil of cowardice and inaction. And so when people try to, no, don't do it. No, consider the source. Is this someone who lives a life where they do stand up for themselves and they do live their truth and they aren't pushed around? If that's true, okay, yeah, let me hear you out. Let me hear you out. Maybe what they're telling you is part of a larger strategy. But if you look at them and it's like, you're out of shape, you're in a bad relationship, and you, by the way, you are fine with all of these things. If you were out of shape in a bad relationship and you're like, hey, I'm working to change it, high five, I'm with you, I'm riding with you. But you are complacent and cowardly. And I'm supposed to listen to the way, okay, like I'm supposed to listen to you? I get that I would be triggering because I'm someone who goes after what I want, and I'm someone who goes after anyone coming after what I want. I don't know if that sentence made sense, but I feel like it does. I get that you don't want to see someone doing what you yourself are incapable of doing. Sports must be very difficult for you to watch. But that's not us. We have to decide these things for ourselves. We can't go after our enemies to the point where we destroy ourselves. It's called a Pyrrhic victory. King Pyrrhus, doesn't matter. You'll destroy yourself. Anyway, we can't do that. But we can't let the Commoduses and the Caligulas and the Neros of the world walk all over us with a smile on our face and open arms, waiting to embrace their bullshit over and over again. If you're watching this on YouTube and you want to see some more Roman history or some more advice, whether it's about Rome or anything else, more pep talks, join me in the Shallontourage. You get 5 videos a week, plus group chats with hundreds and hundreds of girls from around the world. We've got 25 different chats for whatever tickles your fancy, from evil and schemes to fashion and beauty, health, post reactions, manifestation, positivity, and meetups all over the world. Girls are meeting up and becoming best friends. I hear these stories all the time from the Shallontourage. I met my best friend because of this group, and we meet up all the time, and I finally feel like I've got another alpha female in my corner. You can sign up down below, save 25% on 2 months. Also, Evil Week is coming, and Evil Week will be available exclusively in the Shallontourage. It's gonna be a really good one this year. It's gonna be good. All right, I'll see you later, Shalligators.